What's going on, everybody? We are back with another video here on the Enebo Racing channel. Today we've got a fun video here. We're going to be showing off Project Stormtrooper for the first time on the channel. So we're going to go over kind of the history of the car, how I got it, when I got it, all the little modifications that I can name. So how we got into Fox bodies was really starting with my grandma. Grandma Mimi, she had an 87 T-top. When she passed away, my brother got the opportunity to purchase the car from the family, and so he was driving that around kind of as I was, getting closer and closer to being able to drive. So riding around with him, doing burnouts and stuff was always really cool, and I was sold, after seeing so many people come up to him, whether it's at the gas station or anywhere we went, somebody wanted to come and make a comment on the car. So I saw how cool it was, saw how many people really saw him as a retro type of car, and when it was time to purchase my own car, this thing came to mind. My brother had his, I wanted one, so I bought this car way back in June 2015. I picked up the car for $2,800. A buddy of mine drove me up from Eugene, where I was living at the time, going to college. I think it was my sophomore year. When I bought it, the first thing I did with it, in front of the person that I bought it from, was just do some donuts in the parking lot that we were in. And after that, I knew I was sold. Posi was working, the 5-speed was doing good. So I guess I can give you the rundown. So it's a '89 GT. It came with a 5-speed. It had the stock 273 gears in the back with everything was stock. It was love at first sight. I mean, it was a bone stock car. It did have a 5-lug swap with these current wheels on it, but it had factory intake, stock motor, air box, air silencer, stock radiator. There wasn't a whole lot that had been modified, stock gears, everything, and so from there I just had a blank slate, and I didn't know a whole lot about Fox bodies, but my brother did, and he had kind of guided me in the right direction. He exposed me to late model restoration. That's where I had bought a lot of the parts that are on this car from. I was living in my college apartments, and there was a covered, really well lit parking garage, 7 stories, so the top few floors of the parking garage were never taken. So it was a really cool little workspace up there with a little Bluetooth speaker, and I just started kind of wrenching on. It was really cool just to change all the fluids out. I went and got some tires. I think I had ended up stopping by a stereo store and getting some stereo equipment installed, and really just made it fun to drive. Some of the first modifications I did was like some BBK shorty headers, a Pro 5.0 short shifter. The stock shifter was just totally worn out, so the Pro 5.0 shifter was a huge bonus. I did subframe connectors. After those first few little modifications, it was a never-ending project. I was joined a Mustang club shortly after I went to one of my first car meets with the car. I met my friend Austin, who also had a Fox body there with a 351 in it. I think Austin sold me an Explorer intake with some injectors. Those were all the little modifications that I was doing, and so it was really cool getting the car started. And it wasn't until recently that I've kind of taken things to the next level. I got a good job, and really trying to make this car something that looks nice, sounds good, but also hurts some feelings. Pretty competitive guy, so if we're not winning on the track, then something's wrong. So why don't we take a look at this thing, and I'll kind of highlight some of the really nice stuff in detail. The car's running on a Holley Terminator X ECU, so it's the standard 937F kit. Wiring is all new. I got the live wires from Performance Distributors. We got the Screaming Demon coil over here. This thing, I've been rocking it for a few years now. We got a Motion Raceworks catch can, Cletus edition, of course. This little coolant overflow. I really need a bigger one. This thing overflows a little bit. I think it just needs a little more capacity. But otherwise, we've got the battery relocation kit, obviously. The battery's in a sealed battery box in the trunk. We got the SVE 65mm throttle body there. We're running 47-pound Ford Performance injectors. Obviously, it's got an On3 Performance turbo kit on it, 70mm, just their standard journal bearing turbo. I do have a billet wheel on the turbo, so it's really tight on the housing, just to really increase efficiency, I think. Nothing too crazy. We got a Mac valve down there for my boost control. We got the stainless steel kit with the turbo. So really nice 304 thick-walled stainless, so the flanges are nice and thick. Those got decked, made sure those were flat. We got a Ford Performance billet oil filter elbow down there. We got the standard On3 Performance intercooler, stock heads, stock cam, Explorer intake. We've got upgraded valve springs and ARP head studs for the heads. So, you know, nothing to, you know, increase performance, but, you know, it's a pretty stout little short block here. A 3G alternator kit. My old alternator was going out, so it's a perfect opportunity to upgrade. We got a new water pump. We got comp cams, double roller timing chain. We got an ARP drive shaft for the oil pump. We obviously have the AC delete, and we have the power steering pump up here, no smog pump, really short belt. We got the Maximum Motorsports clutch cable, and then I think these are just UPR firewall adjuster and clutch quadrant for on the pedal. We've got a quick ratio steering rack from LMR. It's like their little sport rack or whatever it is, because mine was leaking. We got an upgraded radiator from Amazon. It's been working great, just a little thicker than stock, and it's aluminum, so that's nice. We got an electric fan. This is a Dorman Lincoln Mark 8 fan, I think from, I don't know, mid 90s or late 80s. But yeah, it works really well. Going into the interior here, we've got some nice Corbeau seats, matching of course with the white piping. We've got a Motion Raceworks MPI Cletus Edition steering wheel. I've got a little two-step button wired into the Holly. We got a sweet little, you know, coolant gauge in a 3D printed gauge pod there. We're rocking the Stormtrooper Darth Vader headliner. I bought a nice ABS board off of CJ Pony Parts, and then I got the headliner material from Amazon. It is a Disney branded product, so it's pretty cool. I thought it was cool. It matched the scheme. It was either that or black and white checkered, and I don't know. I like the mosaic here. There's the battery box, and the trunk's just empty. Don't have anything back there. So I've got the battery in the trunk here, sealed up battery box. I've got a kill switch through the body, through my license plate. This will kill the whole entire car, including the alternator if the car is running. In the glove box, I got this little 12-volt fuse panel, and this is all 12-volt while cranking power. So all of these things remain powered once the car's cranking. So I've got my boost controller hooked up here, coolant temperature gauge, I've got a voltage gauge, and my fan controller is this one right here. So yeah, this is a cool little panel. I built it, nothing too fancy. I'm gonna show you the rear brake and control arm setup. So these are the heavy duty rear control arms and the Raceland coil over kit. Left the tag on it, you know, like a cool guy. They're so-so. They're stiff, you know, they do perform pretty well, but they're a really harsh ride, and I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, get some better shocks and struts back here for sure. We got some Summit Racing axles. They're just stock replacements, nothing fancy. They're supposed to be a little bit stronger, but I didn't really buy them for performance, mainly just to fix my old worn out ones. So we did the rear disc conversion. This is all stuff off of a 96 Mustang. I bought the calipers and caliper brackets on eBay, and then these are also from eBay. They were like 60 bucks for the drilled and slotted pads and rotors. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Stock 8.8. And I got all the brake hoses and the brake lines off of either eBay or the parts store. So once again, nothing too crazy or nothing too fancy. Right now we're rocking the SN95 pony wheels with the Continental Extreme Contact DWS 06s. So I've been wanting to make this video for a while, so I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions on the car or about the car, make sure to drop them in the comments down below. I'd love to answer any questions you guys have about it. But obviously, you know, it's a work in progress. There's gonna be a whole lot more coming. I haven't even felt like I scratched the surface of what I want this car to be, so make sure to stick around. If you like the channel, make sure to hit the button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But, you know, thanks for watching, and as always, stay ripping.